Men try to colonize women for their time, energy, and resources. Men try to colonize women. Men try to tap into women's resources without any fair exchange, without any reciprocity. And that is what we're about to talk about right here. Think about relationships. Are they one-sided where it comes to unpaid labor, the mental load, all of the things that go on in the household as far as romantic relationships? What about supposed friendships? Is there reciprocity? Is there mutually beneficial situations where, both feel like they can lean on one another? What about at work? Are women tapped into to do the unpaid labor, the servant type of labor, the caretaking labor at work? Really think about these things and think about that as we talk about this next post. This woman, Queen, does a summary of what Yo Dex talks about. And I'm going to get to his post in a minute. But she says, the summary of what this male is saying is that he's advising people to keep platonic relationships with women so that they can be their unpaid nanny. How nice. So they can be their unpaid nanny, so they can be the caretaker, so they can be the nursemaid and all of that. Please keep that in mind. I'm about to tell you what Yo Dex had to say. All right, so here's Yo Dex in his tweet thread. He said, just casually remembered this guy during my internship. His mother and father were late, I guess older when they had him. He was the only child. He was living together with his friend in a 4-bedroom apartment. They were 5. He was sick and none of his friends even noticed. It took a girl that he met in the club for a one-night stand to get him to the hospital. At that point, he couldn't walk again. He couldn't even hold his piss or poop again. None of his friends could sacrifice to stay in the hospital with him. It had to be that girl from the one-night stand that had to come back and be with him. His guys were calling, asking to send him money for food, contributing for hospital bills and everything, but not everything is money. This girl had exams and had to leave at some point. This guy was without help for 2 days. Since then, I've been more conscious about keeping platonic friendships. They came visiting sometimes, but none stayed overnight. All of them were working, as they said. This is the most traumatic experience for me so far in the medical field because this guy died. This guy died out of nonchalance of himself and his friends. How do you live together with someone that is coughing off blood and other things for about 3 months? You guys still smoke together and all. He was losing weight. Nobody noticed something was wrong. Nah, some guys need to do better. The point here is for boys to be able to have a more deeper relationship with one another. If they have, maybe they'll be able to clock him and he'll be able to open up too. Being vulnerable to your fellow guy is not being weak. Anything in this part of the world, we tag it as gay. People are raising the issue of him hiding what exactly was wrong with him and others having lives to live. Even if we're to excuse them on that, leaving someone who can't stand or walk all alone in the hospital, who will go get food for him? Who will change his diapers for him? Who will be cleaning him up? Emotional death isn't so common in male cliques. These are things females will have A1 in. That's my point. If you like to follow Twitter people and be saying there's no point keeping any girl way they know come through with knacks. I'm sorry, I don't know what that says, way they know come through with knacks. But, maybe that's sex. I don't know. But basically he's saying men do not have emotional bonds. They don't pay attention. And you need to keep a woman on the side just in case you need a nursemaid because you can't keep your poop together and you don't have insurance and you're not going to the hospital. Like literally, why isn't he in the hospital? Why did he let himself get so bad that he is coughing up blood, pooping and peeing and can't keep himself together? When I talk about the whole mom to wife pipeline is drying up, it really is. And these people are not taking care of themselves. And like this whole situation right here sums up how men are negligent and even watching what's going on with their spouses. Like we did a Reddit post where a spouse, an ex didn't notice the cat is bleeding in the litter box and the cat is coughing up stuff and snotting out things. Are they really just not paying attention to anything? This dude didn't notice his own body falling apart. Why didn't he take himself to the doctor before it got to be this bad? This is literally what happens as the mom to wife pipeline is drying up. They are failing and flailing. They like literally, this dude sees it because it sounds like the internship is in the medical field. People will see this and they are not doing that well without some kind of female companionship. But before you extend those types of courtesy, this is work. Caretaking and nursing somebody is work. Do you think that they would do the same thing for you? If the answer is no, do not extend yourself like that. Let these people figure it out themselves. They need to pay into their long-term care. They need to pay into their insurance. They need to get their own doctor's exams. Otherwise, they will perish alone. Like this dude had housemates and still none of them gave a damn. That's the depths of them. And that's with their supposed friendships, bros over hoes and all that kind of stuff. So if they can't even do that for their friends, how do you think that they're going to do if you're sick, if you have issues, if you have a child that's sick? Will they give a damn? Answer that question. And like this dude at the bottom, he says, please summarize. Like he couldn't even take the time to read all of this. And I'm going to keep going back to that article that I was doing the other day where women are pulling out of relationships and don't want to date because they don't want to deal with these one-sided situations. And you can see, yeah, that's probably the reason why the dudes were jumping into my comments, like freaking out, like, we need each other, we need each other. Like, no, you don't. Y'all need us more than we need y'all because literally there's no way that I could be in vicinity with anybody that I remotely care about without noticing something. Like it could be someone that I've interacted with a few times and I would notice these types of things and try to like get to the bottom of it or help in some kind of way. So this was a comment under Queen's tweet where she shared his essay. And I don't know all of these words, but I get the gist. Orange Cat Energy says instead of him saying that they need to strengthen their male friendships and that they should be better, he ended his essay with make female friends because they will be there for you. We come into this world to labor. That's exactly it. We are born to be caretakers. We're born to be the servants. And that's what Tolu says. Most men only value women for their labor. Menza Miriam says, since then I decided to keep female friends. Like instead of encouraging your existing friends to show up for each other, you decided to recruit women in case you fall sick. They are just talking to each other about the necessity of keeping women around so they could use women for their labor. Listen to what these men are saying. And that's pretty much what the rest of these people are saying, talking about platonic friends so you can use them. Female platonic friends. They're not going to use male platonic friends because they know that the dudes are not going to just show up and nurse them back to health. So ladies, keep this in mind. If you ever even just get a cold and you see who's going to swoop in to bring you something if you need it, will it ever be a male friend or will it be your female friends? Please keep that in mind before you extend too much labor to these people. Keep that in mind. Let me know what you think about all of this. Like, comment, and share. We have a feel-good, supportive marriage story. This woman posted in the 2X chromosome subreddit saying, I was not meant to be a housewife, and my husband recognizes that. She's 33, he's 36. She says they've been married 16 years next month. No children, but 3 adorable cats. She says, I lost my job in November. I was the director of resources at a nonprofit that served the homeless. 80 hours plus a week, always on call, spent my days putting out fires, both small and large. I had worked very, very hard on my education and career to get to that point. I absolutely loved it and was very sad to leave because of budget cuts. Up until that point, my husband had been a house husband. He loved staying home, taking care of errands, cleaning the house, and caring for our kitties. Also, I could dedicate 100% of my efforts towards my career. It worked really well for us, and he supported me 100%. After I lost my job, I immediately started looking for a new position, but the job market is tough. We lived off savings and unemployment for a while, but eventually we had to figure something out. So he went back to work. He's loving his new position, but with him gone all day, that tasked me with the house duties while still urgently searching for a job. It's been about 8 months now, and we've settled into a routine, but honestly, I am absolutely miserable. I never wanted to be a housewife. Absolutely no shade towards housewives. I see what other wives do, and it's absolutely insane, just not my thing. Today, I was expressing to him how unhappy and unfulfilled I was. His immediate response was to apologize for not saying enough, how appreciative he was of me. I told him it was that I do feel appreciated, but more so I just wasn't accomplishing enough each day to feel fulfilled. Washing the same dish day after day just didn't do it for me. When he got home, he made a point to say how much specifically I had done that day. He complimented my very basic dinner like 3 times. After dinner, he did all the dishes. I usually leave them till the morning, as well as a couple of chores I was meaning to do tomorrow. He also suggested we get pizza for dinner tomorrow, then stated all of the chores were done and dinner taken care of for tomorrow. That I should instead take the entire day and focus on doing things that'll allow me to feel fulfilled, crafting, volunteering, whatever, just things that'll make me happy. That literally makes me happy. He says, do whatever you need to make you feel happy. That really does warm my heart. She says, I know this isn't going to fix everything, but to know I was heard and acknowledged in my misery and my husband tried to fix it even short term, well, I just really appreciates that he appreciates that this isn't the life I want and that he'll do whatever it is in his power to help me do what I want to do in life. Yes, yes. And the thing is, like, for me personally, I don't care about the specifics. Like, they're happy. He likes to stay at home. He likes to do all of these errands and stuff. That is not a gender thing. She's happy going to work. She is fulfilled doing that. But when there was a need, they flip-flopped. And now she's trying to get back into the job market, but they had enough sense to be able to fall into a role that made sense to make sure that their household still runs properly, still has money coming in, and all the while still appreciating each other. I love this story. I'm glad that Cozy Cat Cafe tagged me in this because we do need these stories of support. And this is why it's important also to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P, because you never know if somebody is going to lose a job or if they're going to be downsized or whatever. You do not know. So one person having all of the stress, all of the credentials to be at work, and then they get downsized or something happens at work, then what happens next? You need that other person to be able to swoop in and be able to take care of things because there's not always going to be a job that just comes right in. Just like she said, the job market sucks. It is refreshing to get tagged in something that is positive. Thank you, Cozy Cat Cafe. She says, I know this is very sweet. Bourbon Bougie, the ultimate palate cleanser, has arrived. Thank you for the tag. Bulldog Blue says, this is exactly what a loving and supporting relationship looks like, and it's always nice to read. It's difficult to overstate how demoralizing a period of unemployment can be, but it's great someone is in your corner to remind you it isn't forever. And the OP says, it's the longest I've been without a job since I was 19, and even then I was in school. My career is a huge aspect of my identity, so I really feel I've been stripped of that now. But he is 100% in my corner, always rooting for the next thing, and comforts me when it doesn't go how I'd like. Honestly, though, this is another reason why some people do fall into a depression. When you make anything part of your whole identity, it can go bad. Like, some people make being a wife and a mother their whole identity. Some people make being in politics their whole personality. Some people make being a vegan or their religion their whole personality. You can't do that because if it gets stripped away, something happens, somebody that was a sacred cow falls, then you're trying to re-examine what your purpose is. You shouldn't make anything your whole identity. This person, Laliki, said precisely what I was saying. She says, I'm an older person who has always worked. Now I am very close to retiring. I would like to gently suggest to you that you try to develop some fulfilling interests outside of work. As you've just experienced, having your major source of fulfillment come from an outside source that ultimately has goals that may not be perfectly aligned with yours isn't ultimately satisfying. Jobs will lay you off or move or change structure in an unproductive way. And ultimately, you want to be happy whether you're currently working or not or retired. Your partner sounds great. I hope you can feel satisfaction and a sense of identity whether you're working or not. You have inherent value as a person. You are more than your input. Absolutely love that. I am so glad that she expressed that to her, and I'm glad that we were able to hear that today. Do not make something outside of yourself what makes you tick every single morning, because if it changes, then what? What is going to be your next thing that pushes you out of the bed? You need to have something for yourself that comes from within, not something from outside of you. And with that, I'm going to leave that there. That was a mic drop in itself. We got some good news. We got some productive advice, gentle advice. I think we're going to end it there. Let me know what you think of this one. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share. I was sent this Instagram post and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool option for women. It says there is an island in Finland where all men are banned. So you see, all these men, you got the little no sign, no men. Women can come here, have a vacation. Look at them taking this picture, just happy. This is the owner and founder. Her name is Christina Roth. She says, everyone who works on the island is a woman. I only go to men when there's no other alternative. So here she is. And just a couple of more pictures. Now let's read the caption. And here's the caption. It says, Christina Roth, a successful entrepreneur, turned her vision into reality by creating Super She Island, a women-only retreat off the coast of Finland. The 8.4-acre island offers luxury cabins, Finnish saunas, wellness activities, and a nature-filled escape. After building and selling her IT firm, Roth launched Super She to foster authentic female networking beyond traditional events. What started as a blog and a retreat has grown into a global community of over 3,000 women focused on wellness, empowerment, and fun, and no men allowed. Okay, so you see this has close to 25,000 comments, and I click into it, and y'all, the men are butthurt. They are really upset about this. They are really triggered that women have a space where it's just women. Let's look at some of this. Kit Cope says, so everything just stays broken. Oh, just Trevor says, 3 men could conquer that island. The first thing he thinks about is violence and harming women. December Storm says, wow, I'd love to be able to do a night walk safely or a day walk. Shoot. Lee says, how can I move here? Groovy Lando posts this picture and says, nothing can stop us, because of course they just want to impose on women that are trying to get away. Livy says, a whole island where I don't have to wear a bra. James, insulting women with stereotypes, saying, an entire island of people who can't parallel park. Your Best American Girl says, instead of being pissy that women need spaces away from men, why not question the reasons why a space like this is so successful? And then Ruppel Bluntskins says, because male contractors were paid to build such a nice facility. Most welcome, milady. Enjoy the stay. And that's what they do. They take credit for things that men do, but when men get blamed for things like, violence, femicide, grape, then it's like not all men. But men surely do love taking credit for things that they haven't done. Because what are the odds that Rumpel Blutskins is one of the people that actually built this retreat? What are the odds? Carl Wigo says, how many days until the backstabbing begins and factions form? Boy Mom Representing says, this sounds like the ultimate girls getaway. I'm in. And then the Real Savior says, a place where all girlfriends and wives come and discuss about their cheating plans, women, and gives a warning sign. Women are just a warning sign. That's why Juliana is asking, "Are you okay?" I'm not doing too many of these comments because they are really not okay. When women do girls' trips, when there are women that do solo traveling, black women traveling, women doing brunch, women deciding that they just want to be single, these dudes get really irrationally mean and mad. Like women traveling is like a big red flag for them. Like they cannot stand it. They get mean. They think about violence. They think about how they're going to conquer it. That's the first thing that comes to their minds. And instead of unpacking that, like, why is that your first thought? Maybe think that this is the reason why women want a retreat where they can go and feel comfortable. They are exhausting. Someone sent me this to my Instagram inbox yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to like look at it. But why are they so mad? This is the reason why. This is the reason why there will continue to be a male loneliness epidemic because they simply do not like women. They don't like us.
I love rotisserie chicken more than I love myself. She's sweating in her plastic bag like a goddess on the shelf. Under the heated lamps at 8:30 p.m. I'd eat her again and again and again. She's a hot little bird just for me. I don't need real love cause I got protein, golden skin and crunchy skin. A hot little chub with a tiny beak. Don't need romance when I'm with this freak. Golden skin and crunchy skin.